It's not looking good. Hey, welcome back to my channel. It is December 19th. It is time to buckle down and finish all the books that I'm in the middle of. Now this video is only gonna have the books that I have already started. Y'all, it's freezing out here. I thought it would be warmer. I'm freezing, so I can't do this for long. This is just the intro. I just want to tell y'all what I have. So we're gonna look at my Kindle library, and then I think I have one physical book, maybe two. I think one that I'm almost done. It's a physical book that I own, so I'm probably just gonna get the audiobook because I wasn't really enjoying it anyway. So we're gonna just get the audiobook. Okay, I did put all the ones that I've started from the ones that I'm farther in to the least. 3, 6, 9, 9. Oh geez Louise. So this is not going to be including any book that I start that I want to read. I'm not going to include that in here because I wasn't already in it. I have Outro 36% of the way through, Claiming Mrs. Claus 35%, Taken to Veraxia, Santa's Little Pleasers, Just Right, Release Me, The Last Man on Earth, Skulls and Stitches. I can't even read that. And Double Dribble. Now, today is Friday. Lord. Today is Friday. I could probably finish Outro, Claiming Mrs. Claus, Santa's Little Pleasers, because those are actually novellas. Just Right is a short book, but it's not a novella. The ones that are going to take me a little bit would be Taken to Veraxia, Release Me, maybe Double Dribble, Skulls and Stitches, and then maybe The Last Man on Earth, because those are a little longer. But it's also, it's going to depend on my mood. Like, what do I want to finish? Because I just finished Akwaeke Emezi's new book yesterday. It was steamy. It wasn't like super spicy, but I could definitely see myself finishing Claiming Mrs. Claus first. They have to come back in right here, y'all. But if you have seen my video where I go over Christmas book recommendations, I do speak about Santa's Little Pleasers, and I just didn't know if I wanted to continue reading that or not. I think I will, and I'm just gonna put in my rating, which if you've seen the video, then you know what I'm talking about. And I'm just gonna put in my rating, you know, the issues that I saw or that I had. I can't even pull out. Finishing two of the books from my KU library. The first one that I finished was Santa's Little Helpers. I mentioned before that this is a book that I spoke about in the Christmas book recommendations video. Both of them that I ended up finishing were the two that I mentioned I was currently reading. Santa's Little Helpers, I want to say it's 4 college guys that end up coming up with this plan, this business of selling their bodies to older women for extra money. Santa's Little Pleasers. I did mention that I found that there were two problematic scenes. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to finish it. If I do, I'm definitely going to mention it in my review. And I didn't say that it was going to affect my rating, but it was already going to affect my rating. I can tell you that now. I did end up giving it like a 2.5. The author does mention at the beginning of the book, and I'm pretty sure I've read this author before. I just don't remember if she is someone that I DNF'd. But the author does mention that this was her first erotica that she ever wrote. I'm not going to say that I could tell or anything. I mean, it was definitely giving erotica. Like, I think she definitely accomplished whatever she wanted to. But I will mention the 2 scenes because after I completed it, I think those were the only 2 scenes, if I remember correctly. Mind you, I just finished it yesterday, so I should remember. The first scene, we have a girl who's around the same age as them, maybe 23, 22, and she has an old man fetish. Like, I mean, he was giving 80s. She ends up spiking the guy that ends up taking one for the team or whatever. He's obviously not in his 80s, so he has no problem with getting it up. However, to complete her fantasy, she ends up spiking his drink, obviously without his consent, without his knowledge, with Viagra. They still end up continuing. She apologized, yada yada yada. I felt a little weird because I'm like, am I thinking too much into it? There is someone who commented on my last video, or the video that I spoke about this in, and she was like, no, like, you're not thinking too much into it. I was like, okay, thank you. Because I thought I was going crazy. Because I don't remember anyone mentioning this when I looked up the reviews, and I need to go back and look at all of them to see maybe if I missed someone saying that. And then the second scene right after that was a lady who had a break-in fantasy. When they fill out the form of whatever their fantasy is, they put all their details. So of course with that kind of fantasy you need a safe word. She put her safe word, I forgot what it was. She used it the one time, they do stop, and she goes to use it a few more times. He cuts her off. I didn't even realize that's what she was saying because he was cutting her off so early on when she was saying the word. So I didn't catch on until like later, and I'm like, wait a minute, she's trying to use her safe word and he's not letting her say it. I want to say she tried saying it 2 times for sure, maybe 3, like back to back. What I also failed to mention was, I forgot what happened, but he basically was like threatening to leave. Like, oh, well, like, this isn't gonna work out, da 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 da, like, I'm gonna just go. And obviously she still wanted her fantasy to come true, so it's kind of like he, I don't know what's the word for that, but like, not rage bait, baited her into continuing. So that was very odd, and that's where I had stopped. I thought I was further along in the book when I spoke about it. I thought I was like 80% of the way through. I was not at the time. I think I was 40 something percent of the way through, which is why when I picked it back up yesterday, I was like, oh my gosh, how do I still have like an hour left or 40 minutes left? But I did continue it. I'm gonna give it a 2.5. I would definitely say like 2.5 going on 2. I have a love-hate relationship with eroticas. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Then I ended up finishing Claiming Mrs. Claus. This is by R.M. Virtues. I believe I gave this a 3-star. I would definitely say that this is probably a 4-star, but because I also was not in the mood to read it, I just wanted to finish it. That of course affected my rating. Mrs. Claus, who is not with Mr. Claus, she's not with Santa. They realized early on that their relationship was more platonic. This is an MMF, male female relationship. They're 2 guys that work with the reindeers. Not reindeers themselves, they have antlers, but they're not animals, they're human everywhere else. A little scene or a couple of scenes between them 3. In the moment when I downloaded the book, I was ready to read it and I wanted to, but then I think I read what, 35% of it, and then I was like, nah, I don't want to read it anymore. But I still need to finish it because I've DNF'd so many books this year because I've already started compiling my list for like my best books, my worst books, which I really have no worst book, but we'll get to that later on. But I've DNF'd about 24 books, and actually way more than that. I don't really keep track of my DNFs like that. If I've already marked it on my Storygraph that I'm currently reading it, and I'm a good like 10% plus of the way through, then I'll mark it as a DNF. If I'm only 4%, 3%, I'm just gonna delete it. It's not even worth my time in DNFing it. And sometimes I'll start a book that I didn't even mark on my Storygraph yet, so I'm not about to just mark it to DNF it. That gets me to what books I have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 books left. I started with 9. Out of these 7, there's only 3 books from here that I do see myself continuing. On one hand, do I truly see myself finishing these before the end of the year? I don't know. So it's kind of like I already have that idea in my head, and so it's like, should I just DNF them? 3 that I do see myself continuing is The Last Man on Earth by Shay Sanders, Skulls and Stitches maybe, and I did continue Release Me. I'll get into what this is about later on. I'm now 35% of the way through. Well, I'll talk about it real quick. The only reason why I hadn't picked this book up when I put it down, I couldn't remember what it was about. I think I went to pick this book up about 3-4 days ago, and I had stopped in a chapter. Chapter 9, by the way, 21% of the way through, could not remember who the characters were, what the storyline was. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna put it back down. But yesterday, I didn't really know what I wanted to read, but I'm like, you know what? I do want to continue Release Me. So I went back to the first chapter, the prologue. I skimmed a little bit of the first chapter. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. I restarted the chapter I was in. So I restarted chapter 9 and now I'm on chapter 15. So I feel a lot better. The other books, Outro by Tannen, I don't know. It's just, don't really want something super spicy right now. Now this, I'm sure we will get to some spice. She just does a great job at giving both spice and a good storyline and a good romance, because I feel like sometimes romance and spice don't always go together, because I've read some spicy books that lacked romance, and of course romances that didn't have spice. But I think she does a great job at balancing all three, which is really what I was in the mood for. Just Right by Sean, that's the only one that I haven't like picked back up to see where I had stopped. Taken to Viraxia by Elizabeth Stevens is the one where I don't know. Think I Want a DNF. And I hate to say that Elizabeth Stevens is like a hit or miss author for me, but I think she is. I'm not into this. Now, I just finished reading Akwaeke Emezi's new book that's on KU, Son of the Morning, and it's a steamy romantasy, forbidden love. Loved it. And right after I finished that, I'm like, that is exactly what I was expecting from Taken to Viraxia, even though they're aliens, that series by Elizabeth Stevens. That's exactly what I was looking for, and it's not giving that, which they're two different authors, of course. Out of all of these books, that is the one I keep going back to like read a chapter, and then I put it right back down. I'm 37% of the way through now, chapter 9. But let's get into Release Me. I think I'm just gonna kind of explain what I've read until now. So we have Nadia and Sebastian. Nadia, at the very beginning of this book, she is in a major car accident with another person, her boyfriend at the time, who we find out very abusive to her. Him and his dad trafficked her. Yeah, it's a whole thing. So she escapes from that, and the first chapter starts 2 days later. I don't know how much time has passed since that, but she's looking for a job, and she goes to this, it's like a hotel, but it has like a restaurant, a bar, whatever, and she's there to be a server. When she was going in for the interview, she ends up running into this man, and it's not the best first impression. She doesn't get the job anyway. So she finds herself downstairs, I guess, at the bar, and because I hate to say that she's a sex worker, because it wasn't on her own free will. She was being trafficked, but that is something that she did. So she knows what to look for when someone is like trying to suss you out. Is that the right word? I don't know. And there is a lady that's there that does, and she mentions to her, if this didn't work out for you, there's another business that does sex work, but it's like healthy. Like it's not a scam or anything. She eventually takes her up on this offer. Doesn't get that far because the man that she ran into at that job interview is Sebastian, and he's the one that owns both. I think the name of that club is called like Ludus, and then like that's his restaurant. She doesn't make the connection. He does offer her a managing role at the restaurant, so where she would have been a server. I'm liking it so far. I think J.L. Seegers always does a great job, again, with balancing the romance, the plot as well. And I'm sure, this isn't a spoiler, but I'm sure the conflict in here is going to involve her past. I wanted to finish this today. I doubt it. I have about 4 hours and like 59 minutes. So you could say 5 hours. I think I've maybe read 40 minutes from where I was before. I'm home from work. I do have an update with some of the books. I did continue reading J.L. Seegers' Release Me. I am 87% of the way through, page 372. 4 minutes left in the chapter. And I have, oh wow, 51 minutes left of the book. Okay, so we should hopefully finish it today. I was able to get to 50% yesterday. Anywhere from like 49 to 52%. I don't remember exactly where I got, which was my goal for yesterday. So I am on track to finishing it today. It's only 3:31. I think next I want to try and read one more chapter of Taken to Viraxia. If I'm not feeling it, we just gonna DNF. And I think I'm gonna go into The Last Man on Earth, but that's not why I started this video. Actually, I keep meaning to show y'all the physical books that I'm also in the middle of. Only one, actually. I should have found it before I started filming. So I am in the middle of this one. I don't remember if I said that in the intro. I think I did. I'm just gonna find the audiobook for this. I am 220 pages in, chapter 24. I still got quite a bit left. It's not a bad book. Personally, I don't think this author is for me. This is my second book of theirs. The first one was The Romantic Agenda. This might even be their second book. I'm not sure. The books are a little mediocre in my opinion, and I'm feeling the same way about this, which is why I put it off for so long. I probably started this 3 months ago. Hopefully my library has it. If not, it's not looking good. Now, I do have these two books, but they're not marked on my story graph. I did not get far into them. I have Heartsick by Christina Forrest, so this doesn't count. I am on page 6, so I'm just gonna take that out and put it right back. We gonna try again next year. And then The Scammer, I got 8 pages in. So again, take this out. These two are not DNFs. I'm not far along in them. The only other book that I have is this book. Where's the cover? This is a hardback, so I don't like reading with the sleeve. This is The Black AF History by Michael Harriot. I've been wanting to get this. I finally got it from Barnes & Noble, sadly. I am only 18 to 19 pages in. The reason why I'm gonna continue reading this, but I don't care if I don't finish it, is because I don't even think I marked that I started this either. And maybe I should wait, because I doubt I'm gonna read some of this for the rest of the year. So it might not even matter, because I didn't even mark that I'm reading it. But the reason why I don't care is because I'm reading this like a history book, even though it's written like a regular novel. By the way, I think I butchered prologue for Release Me by J.L. Seegers, because I mentioned this car accident. I don't think that was the man for some reason, but I really don't feel like rereading it. But I don't think that was the man that she was escaping. I think she just escaped a man. And that makes sense because we learned a little more about that night. And I'm trying not to say too much because with books that I do enjoy, sometimes I come out with a 4-star or 5-star and never know what to say. So I'm going to continue reading, jot down some notes, and hopefully I'll have a lot to say. My voice is still hoarse, so bear with me. I started messing with my Kindle folder, reorganizing, and of course downloading more books. Some of these aren't in here because these are Christmas books. I did go ahead and remove the Double Dribble book. I just wasn't gonna read it. And then I forgot I had checked for the audiobook for Love in All the Haunted Places, and of course they didn't have it, so I had to press suggest. This is my 3rd time pressing record. We need to get it together. So I have 2 books that I have finished. We're going to talk about Release Me. I did end up finishing it yesterday. I'm giving it a 4-star. Now, out of this series, this is technically like book 3, but it's really not. If you're following either her timeline order or the order that she published, there's way more books in the series because there's like 2 novellas that are part of it. There's Restore Me, there's Revive Me, 3 parts. So there's 3 different books, and then there's this book and another, you know, there's a lot in this series and out of her catalog. I have 2 books left to read. Release Me, I would say I would either give it the same rating as Revive Me, which is kind of hard because Revive Me is 3 books. And I believe I did give some of those books, or a few of those books, like over a 4-star. So technically this one is still going to be lower. But I think I like Release Me the same as the Revive Me trilogy. Or Release Me a little bit more. But I'm not going to change my ratings for any of the Revive Me books because I obviously don't remember them. But I think it's because also the tropes. Overall, Revive Me, it's that friends to lovers, like friends to strangers to lovers. I don't like friends to lovers at all. And also Second Chance, I don't like Second Chance. But anyway, Release Me, I'm giving a 4-star. I actually color coded my notes. I like the meet cute that they had, like the running into each other. I like that. I mentioned this already, but she does a great job at writing the romance. And that leads me into, I actually skimmed some of the spice. There's really not that much anyway, but I hate to say that it didn't need it because I feel like it makes it sound like that her other books needed it, which I don't think they did either, but I looked forward to reading that in the previous books. This one I skimmed, but that could also be I wasn't in the mood to read that. But the romance itself, I think I also mentioned that She does a great job at balancing the romance, the spice, and the plot. Is that what I said? But the romance in here is what I was really looking forward to. Oh, I also forgot. There's a situation with this realtor, the person that shows the houses and stuff, that I thought was very funny. Like, if you know, you know. Like, I don't know, I just found that whole situation of when she was looking for an apartment kind of amusing for some reason. Why I'm giving it a 4. It was definitely too long. Absolutely. This is over 400 pages. 460 something, 420 something, 430 something, I don't know. I already don't like long romances. I couldn't tell you what could have been taken out, but it definitely could have been condensed a little, a smidge. I think they also got together too soon. I think they get together around the 50%, and I'm not talking, wait, or is that the spice? I think the spice happens around the 50% mark, like the first scene. But them actually getting together like boyfriend girlfriend does happen too soon, in my opinion, even though it was past the 50% mark, I think. I actually wrote this as I was reading it. At the 70% mark, I said that I kind of know where it's going now, and it's starting to feel long now. Yeah. Also, when I get to the end of a book, I definitely get anxious, especially with an ebook and especially with a long book, because it's like, wow, I'm almost done. But in a long book, it's like that's still over 100 pages left. I just finished the one by Tannen. So last night, I was like, I need to figure out what else I want to read. But first, let me see how long these books are, because saying that I'm 30% into a 70-page book and 30% into like a 300-page book is totally different. And I couldn't remember the amount of pages in these books. Tannen's was the shortest. I ended up finishing just now, Outro by Tannen. I'm gonna give it a 3-star. I'm being a hater. I think I'm taking into consideration of me putting it down for so long, and that's why I'm giving it a 3. Low-key, I would definitely give it a 4, but I don't want to read no spice right now. And it sucks because a lot of these books that I have left have that in it, and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to read that. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with the rest of the books, but we're gonna talk about it. So Outro is about a singer. This is a novella. It's like 73, 76 pages. We have a singer named Jazzy, German, and he says his name is Mario, but Herc. I think it's Herc. But anyway, so Jazzy is a singer, and she ends up getting with her backup dancer, German, and her bodyguard, Herc. Now, this is an MFM, so the two men, they're not together sexually, but there are like 2 group scenes. Mind you, it's only 73 pages, so you can only do so much. I thought it was good. Again, I'm just not in the mood to read that. I just wanted to finish it. I didn't want to DNF it. So I'm going to give it a 3. I don't want to give it anything above a 3, even though I said that I would definitely have given this a 4. I don't want to give it a 3.5, 3.25, 3.75. For some reason, a 3-star feels higher than a 3.25, even though it's not. But yeah, I don't want to give it that. This book is definitely giving a whole number, so either a 3 or a 4. I'm going with a 3 right now. Let's talk about what I've done, because I think I included a video from last night organizing everything. I don't remember what I caught. I did end up DNFing Taken to Varaxia. We're not doing it. I didn't even try to continue it. I remembered, hey, I'm just not into it. We're just gonna DNF it. The Last Man on Earth by Shea Sanders. The green book with the guy in the middle with the leaves, whatever. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that because I'm 13% in. The book is 448 pages. Did not remember it was that long. I'm 7 chapters in. I don't know. We're gonna see. But another thing that I don't like about this book, I don't like the many different sections that they have. So we start with day 1, day 2, day 3. I don't like it like that. Day 6, 7, week 2. I think it's gonna make the book feel very choppy, and I know that that's why it's long. What else does that leave? So that still leaves Skulls and Stitches. That one's even longer. That was 528 pages. Now this one, I honestly might just remove it. You know what? I'm gonna just remove it because 11% of that is what? It's chapter 4. So honestly, I'm just gonna go ahead and remove it from my story graph. We'll get to it next year. Remove it, and then it refreshes, and then I'm just gonna hit to read again so I don't forget about it. Then that leaves The Last Man on Earth, Just Right by Sean, and this book. This book does not have an audiobook. There is an audiobook. My library does not have it. I don't know what to do. I might try and read a chapter I'm on chapter 24. I'm on page 220. I'm past the halfway mark. And I had previously marked it already about like some stopping points. I have 3. So I might continue that. I can guarantee you I'm probably going to give it a 3. Oh, I have 2 books that are paused. Oh, I paused them because I'm 40% into a book and 37% into another one. It's been so long since I've read these. Through the Fire, I am 40% of the way through. I paused it on June 10th. Mind you, when I paused it, I already wasn't actively reading this. So this is probably from like March. And then The Opportunity, I paused on April 16th. I don't know what to do because I obviously don't want to keep them paused this year. Am I about to add 2 more books? Honestly, Through the Fire, I might just remove because I don't remember how it went and I'm 40% of the way through. I think I'm just gonna remove it, to be honest, and just start over. Told myself I wouldn't update until I was done with the video, but I'm here. I have my notes, so might as well. The rest of this video is probably just gonna be me talking because I swear to you, so Christmas was on Thursday, so I was off Thursday, Friday, obviously Saturday and Sunday. Today's Monday. When I tell you I read the whole weekend, I mean, I was using both my Kindles, which I've been doing that lately. I was using my Kindle page turner. I don't go anywhere without it. I was reading up a storm. Thursday, I ended up starting a book. I won't speak about it. It's going to be in its own video. It's an author taste test. But like I said, this video is only for books that I already started. But I finished that on Friday. So Saturday morning, I woke up early and I'm like, okay, I need to read a little something. Guess what book I picked up? The Last Man on Earth. I was like, you know what? Let me just see where I stop. So I had stopped on 13%, right? I read that morning until I got to 53%. And you know what really pushed me to read it was because I have seen this book on so many people's top reads of the year. So I'm like, yeah, I have to finish it. I don't care how long it is. So briefly, I could have sworn I spoke about this book already. It might be in my like 10 before the end video maybe. But this is about Ari and Villain, aka Vincent, I want to say. He's a rapper. He is, girl, that was close. He's getting married. Lord, here come my daddy. He's getting married. He has rented a plane for him and his entourage, and they're on their way to his bachelor party. On this flight, obviously his entourage, so his family, and then we have our main, hold on y'all. I gotta act nonchalant because he gonna come bother me. Then we have Ari, who is our FMC. She's the flight attendant or stewardess for the flight, and then the pilot and the co-pilot are both co-pilots. Villain ends up making a pass at her, and she ends up making the comment, not even if you were the last man on Earth. Guess what, girl? Y'all about to be the last ones on Earth. Well, where y'all are at, because the plane ends up crashing and they are stuck. They are the last survivors from this plane crash. You know, a romance ends up developing. When I picked the book back up, I realized why I had put it down, and it's because I couldn't stand him. He was such an a-hole, like what you would think a stereotypical like rapper would be, that was him. This is editing me coming in. I'm about to film the rest of this video. Y'all, I was sick this week. That's why my voice is like this. I keep saying that. I recorded like 3 different things already. One of the reasons why I wasn't a fan of Villain or Vincent is because he has a whole son. This fiance of his and him have a son together, and he does not think about this little boy. I think he's a toddler. I think he's like 3 years old or something. He mentions having a son at the very, very beginning, and the majority of the book, nothing. And then around like 70%, they do end up talking more about it. Now, he does say like, it's so tough for him right now. He doesn't want to think about it or talk about his son. But to me, it was coming off like the author forgot she wrote that Villain had a son. Now she has to hurry up and put it in there. That's what it was giving. It's also an age gap. She's 37 and he's 27, so it's 10 years. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I'm giving it, what did I say? I think I gave it a 4-star. It was a really long book, but there was just something about it that was so addictive that I couldn't put it down. Saturday morning, I read until 53%, and then the Sunday, I read the rest. It was spicy. It took a while to get to the spice, to be honest, but once we, had our first little scene, we had multiple after that. It is January 2nd, 2026, and I can tell you that I was able to finish all the books that I was in the middle of for 2025. I ended up finishing even the the one book I had paused. I had two paused, but you guys remember that I just deleted one of them. I removed it, and I'm just gonna start it over. This is getting on my nerves. It was worse than this yesterday. So let's start with the one by Sean. This is an MMFM, male, male, female, male. Two of the men in there are married, and then there's an additional man. They all live together. Now this is like a Goldilocks and the Three Bears or whatever reimagining. Golden, that's her name, ends up breaking into this house where they all live. They weren't there, and she like eats their food and stuff, and it knocks her out because whatever she ate or drank, it's something that one of the guys actually works on, like a potion, but not really a potion. It's a concoction of different things, and it knocks her out. At some point, the couple, the married couple, ends up offering her anything that she needs to work on this bookstore that she wants to build in exchange for her being theirs for the summer. And then we add in another character. His name is Rome. I thought it was really good. At the time I'd kind of stopped because I just didn't really want to read it anymore, but I'm glad that I finished it. I think I actually gave it a 4-star. I do enjoy Sean's writing. Next, I finished The Opportunity. This is the one that I had paused for months. This is an FFM. That was one of the reasons why I kind of stopped. This is female, female, male. I'm not the biggest fan of that dynamic, but usually when it's written by a woman, it's fine because like I would never read it written by a man. Absolutely not. Have I though? I'm trying to think if R.M. Virtues has an FFM. I don't think so. If they do, I didn't read it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that dynamic, but usually when it's written by a woman, they always make sure that one of the women is the main character, and it's not like they're catering to the man, because that's not how this was at all. A married couple named Eddie and Nadine. They have been married for, I want to say, about 16 years. Nadine is actually bisexual, but she has some childhood trauma around that, and she kind of suppressed it. This is the third book in a series, and I want to say just a trilogy actually. And the whole series, what they all have in common is going to this club. And they go to this club and they meet another woman there. And this is someone that Nadine takes a liking to. Fast forward, they're also getting a nanny for their one. They have two kids, but one of them is in college. Her name is Alex. I forgot what the son's name is, but he's, you know, like a kid. I don't know, 8, 4. I want to say he's 4 years old. And then we have Zaire, who walks in, and she's actually the woman from the club. It's the air. The air keeps tickling my throat every time I go to speak. That one was really bad. But anyway, so enter Zaire. She's 30 years old, and she becomes their new nanny, but also there's a new dynamic between them because there's also a relationship between her and Nadine. And then you add in Eddie. I also gave this a 4-star as well, which I was surprised. It just didn't feel right to give it under a 4 because I think it was still written really well. Even though I hadn't read it in so long, as I read from where I left off, there were so many things that I remembered. I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember that. The marriage wasn't going well. I remember the very beginning, the prologue or whatever, the first chapter, and we get a little bit of background history with Nadine and her sexuality. And then lastly, the last book that I finished for the year was Looking for Love in All the Haunted Places. I actually finished both The Opportunity and this on December 30th. I'm giving this a 3.5. One of the reasons why I remember I even stopped reading it was because I wasn't really into the ghost plot. So this is about a woman named Lucky. Lucky, she's not a psychic, but she can like see things and ghosts, and she has to wear sunglasses because everyone that she meets, she like knows their story, something like that. That I wasn't into, so I didn't care, and that's a good part of the book, right? This has a side of romance, and I love books that have a side of romance, but I wasn't into the main part of the book, the main dish. Did like the relationship between Lucky and Maverick. Lucky is actually asexual, and I believe that's going to be the common denominator in all of Claire Kant's books. I'm not sure if that's her sexuality, but I do know the main character from The Romantic Agenda, both actually, or just the FMC. One or both of them are also asexual. We do get that in here as well, even though I think, because it's a spectrum, I think that the asexuality of the main character from The Romantic Agenda and Lucky in here. I think it's two different kinds of asexuality, something like that. But anyway, so she goes to this haunted mansion or manor, and she's there for about 30 days. Like, she has to stay the night there. She has to record what's happening. But while she's there, she does meet Maverick. He's one of like the showrunners or the producers. He has a kid named Rebel. Rebel, I believe, is anywhere from 8 to 10. Even though I think her character definitely came off a lot younger than however old she was. Two things that I do love in books are kids and old people. Even though if I had to choose, I would say the old person, just because sometimes they'll say the same thing, they'll joke around, but I like knowing that the older person actually knows what they're talking about, whereas the kid, they're probably just repeating something that they heard, and you know, it's funny, it's cute, but I like it better when it's coming from the older person because they really mean it and they know what they're talking about. That also made reading this a lot better because, again, Maverick, Rebel, Lucky, and just the dynamic, the found family that was also happening in here was really nice, and it was fun to pick back up. And when I did pick it back up, I was like, I actually read it, I think, in the same day when I picked it back up, so it was nice to end off the year with this. Will I pick up another book by this author? Maybe not, and maybe, honestly, I just won't purchase it. But that is it for today's video. I really did not think I would make it. If you reached the end, comment down below this emoji, and I'll see you next week. Bye!